Yeah, welcome to the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Reviews and reactions. Let's go. It's the Brown Boy Wonder. Hold it down, representing for the culture. Every episode brings you closer into the mind and the heart of a hustler, where the truth and the groove collide. Stay tuned in, come enjoy the ride. Keep it authentic like that, never hold back. It's the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. The Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned in. The vibe's always on.
Brown Boy Wonder Podcast Rewatch Series presents Survivor with Brown Boy Wonder and Daniel McGee.
We are back with Survivor finale. This is the finale of Survivor of Season 1. We are done pretty much with Season 1. I am so sad it's over, but I need to talk to my guests. Daniel, how are you doing today?
Pretty good.
It's
always
episode,
a good
man.
day when we're watching Survivor.
Yeah, man. It's the final episode. What do you? How are you feeling?
Good. I mean, I saw this episode for the first time when it aired in 2000. So this is old news to me.
Right.
But I don't know. It's still a good one.
Yeah, it's good. Especially what happened at the tribal council. But let's get into it, man. Last week, Sean got out, Pauline got out, and Jervis got out, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have a final four. It was Rudy, Sue Hawk, Richard, and Kelly. Season finale.
The
Doggy 4. The final four. Day 37. They are 2 days away from the finale, from the winner, pretty much. Susan said we're down to 60 hours. So 60 hours, if you look at it in that way, it's you get a chance to get $1 million. Rudy's like, the girls got razor blades from the care packages. I think they used it under their arms and then they shaved my face. Do you like a clean-shaven Rudy?
I do. It makes him look a lot younger, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's always nice to see them like get cleaned back up, because a lot of the time in Survivor, you don't really get to see that unless they get voted out and go to the jury, and then they'll come back like from the hotel or Ponderosa or whatever, and it'll be like, oh, that's right, this is what they look like, clean and with their hair done and makeup on.
It's different.
So it's nice to see. It's like watching a 90s makeover in a rom-com or something. But in this case, it's just a slightly armpit scented razor blade, but it gets the job done.
Yeah. I'm sure they're running out of razor blades, but Rudy needed it. Rudy was not complaining about like he's like relieved that he doesn't have to eat rice for the next 2 more days. So, and that rice, man, does not look good at all.
Yeah, I didn't really notice it until this episode. But Rudy's been cooking the rice, I think, the whole time. He's been like the de facto chef.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he's good at it, because we see it and it doesn't look like good fluffy rice. It looks like wet gruel.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it would have the consistency of grits, which is fine if it's grits, but if it's rice, I don't think I like what we're doing here.
I think they're usually. I don't know if it tastes good, right? Like now.
Probably not.
It's just energy for them at this point.
Yeah, it's just calories.
Calories and sugar. That's it. Well, is there rice in this? Is there sugar in this rice?
I mean, it's a bread product, so yeah. I mean, there would be glucose in it, I guess. Does rice have glucose?
I think so.
Does rice contain glucose? Yes. Yes.
There you go. That's what they need. Richard, he's complaining that his hair is longer than it was supposed to, and he's lost a lot of weight. He is flapping his stomach.
Yeah. It's weird. It's because it doesn't look like it has, when people go through dramatic weight loss, they've got that like curtain of loose skin that's hanging there, and he doesn't seem to have that unless it's like tucked into his pants in a way that's somehow hidden it from us. But then he like grabs his stomach and he shakes it, and it's like he's opening a curtain on a window. Like it's just loose and wobbly.
Like
the man
dough.
lost a lot of weight.
Yeah,
like a lot of weight. But I think if I remember right, he finds that weight again pretty fast, which is probably true of most people. Like when you go back from a starvation situation and you start eating again, you're going to put at least the majority of those pounds back on pretty much immediately.
I mean, just give me the IV. I need some nutrients. I'm going to that.
You don't want the IV. You're just going straight to Dave's Hot Chicken.
Oh, yes. For those who are around Dallas, or I think it's pretty much everywhere, go to Dave Hot Chicken. It's a really nice fried chicken place. I think it's better than Cane's. Well, I never had Cane's, but I think it's better than Cane's.
You ever had? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot. I forgot for a second that you were not allowed to have Cane's.
No.
It's pretty good.
Right.
Dave's is pretty comparable, I would say.
That's good. That's good. You got the hot level or spicy?
I think I just got like the normal. Like I didn't. I've only been there once because it's really out of the way for me.
Right. Well, check out Dave's Hot Chicken, but I know these people need Dave's Hot Chicken. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Kelly was complaining about her bug bites, and she said, if you see the intro, she's hanging on the log, and that's what she's feeling pretty much the entire time. She's mentally drained. Susan is like, let's eat like normal people or civilized people and keep going through the day. I agree. And Richard was like, I was really shocked in the beginning by how few people were planning. It seemed a vacation for 16 people who were told what it was about, who saw the logo, outwit, outplay, outlast. Same as I did. Yeah, people were taking advantage of this game in the beginning, but now people, as Rudy says, they're in it to win the $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he's right. Is a lot of the people who are still playing or who are on the jury, and especially the people from before pre-jury, just like did not play the game at all. And so Richard Hatch was able to kind of just cakewalk his ass to the end without really having to do much other than promising 3 other people that if they voted together that they would win. And he was right. So
no. Kelly, she agreed to the alliance, but now she doesn't want to be a part of the alliance, of course, towards the end. And that kind of backfired-ish to her advantage, because Susan, again, was not having it for her. Here, Susan says, after Gretchen, she didn't vote in any of the way the alliance voted. She was setting herself up to be the last 2, and she trying to make she's trying to look good for herself, which, because she knew that there would be more Pangong on the jury than Tagi. So there's some conflict between these 2 gals.
Yeah, the relationship has well and truly fallen apart for these 2, which is it just keeps going back and forth, because it'll be like, oh, we're best friends, and then one little thing will happen, and then they're like at each other's throats, but then they get covered in mud and they're like bathing together, and then they're friends again, and then nothing happens, and now they're enemies again. I don't know. This is like toxic relationship. It's not healthy, whatever's going on here.
Yeah, it's like frenemies, but I think it's more becoming enemies.
Yeah, it's more enemy than friend.
Yeah. We got a tree mill. The group receives photos of the 12 fallen castaways. It's like they died.
A little bit. It's like Polaroids, but you can also tell it looks like it's like before they started filming.
Yes.
Because some of them are like wearing very different outfits and stuff, and it's like, I don't know. It's a little weird. So this is a thing that they do a lot. Not the pictures necessarily, but for a really long time in Survivor, part of the final episode is you'll like go on a like a walk, and you'll find all the torches of the people who you voted out before.
Yeah.
And have like a little like memory party and talk. It's like everyone has to say something nice about them. And in this one, they just like hand them a stack of Polaroids, and they're like, "There you go, there they are. You got them."
Here's the photos to remember them.
I wonder if someone still has those Polaroids. I would want them.
I think Jeff keeps all those Polaroids in his like lock or safe.
Yeah, maybe.
They speculate that the challenge will require them to answer questions about the fallen comrades. Everyone is, after that, they're like deciding who to boot. Susan, of course, is praying for Kelly's downfall. Rudy says Kelly would have gone by now if she didn't ace the last two immunities. And yes, these immunity challenges are life-changing for each competitor, especially someone who's coming up. Let's get into it. The group reports straight to Tribal Council, where they will have their challenge and then immediately vote someone off. Sure enough, the challenge is a quiz about the other castaways. Sue and Kelly each do well, but Kelly wins the tiebreaker when she remembers Sonia's last name, Christopher. I have no idea. Kelly wins her third straight immunity challenge. Do you think you would have gotten at least one correct from this quiz?
Yeah. I think if I had actually lived on an island with these people for 36 years, I would have, or 36 days, not 36 years, Jesus. Yeah. Would have had to have learned at least some of these things. There are a couple that would have been really tough. Like, one of the questions was, what was Sonia's first or last name?
Yeah.
And they only knew her for like 2-3 days. Yeah. So it's possible that would not have come up. I think Richard was the only one who we saw talking to her, of the four of them. And I'm pretty sure got the question wrong. So like clearly that wasn't enough time for him.
I don't know how Kelly got it right. I don't think she talked to her in the first episode.
She must have in those first 3 days, and we just didn't see it in the edit. But she got a lot of things right. Like she was really impressive in this.
Yeah, she remembers everything. Remember names. Remembers clothing, like a banana.
A banana.
Someone's banana.
She remembered Greg's banana.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, hey, oh.
Maybe Colleen does.
Oh, hey.
She remembers someone's shirt. Someone's bandana. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Her memory is really sharp.
She's really good.
Yeah. The vote happens and ends up with a 2-2 tie. Kelly and Sue vote for Richard, while Rudy and Richard vote for Sue. Jeff announced that the Tribal Council will go on as long as it takes until the tie is broken. Rich and Sue each make a statement of why they deserve to stay more. I feel like Richard's statement was like nothing. He was like,
Richard didn't really try, and I think he knew he didn't have to. Because he knew that Rudy wasn't going to switch. So either it was going to be another tie, which I believe in the first season would have meant that they would have had to have done a physical challenge. In which case, it would have been, him versus Sue? And I don't know. It's a toss-up, honestly, of who would have won that.
Could be anybody.
But, I think it was a pretty easy thing to assume that if anyone was going to switch, it was going to be Kelly. So.
Mm-hmm. Rich and Sue each make their statement on why they deserve to stay more, and Rudy and Kelly have to vote again. Rudy is stuck in voting for Sue. He said her numbers are up. While Kelly blindsides Sue by voting her as well, with both Rudy and Kelly voting for Susan or Sue Hawk, the truck driver. Yeah, Sue Hawk. She met her demise and becomes the sixth member of the jury. She is off the island.
And she's mad about it.
She is pissed.
But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I really like Sue as a character on this show. I think that she was probably not someone I would have gotten along with. Although in a lot of ways she kind of reminds me of my Aunt Jan. So maybe, I don't know. I have experience dealing with aggressive Midwestern women. So maybe I would have done all right with her. And maybe that's also why I have sort of an affinity for her. But she's a lot of fun.
She is a lot of fun until she's not on your side.
Yeah, I mean, you would never want to go up against Sue ever in any scenario. She's going to get you.
Maybe if she does skateboarding, maybe she's have a cool temper. I don't know. If she does skateboarding,
why skateboarding?
Tony Hawk.
Why do you think? Yeah.
Hello, Tony Hawk.
Of course.
Well, her final words were, "Oh, I appreciate being able to talk to everybody for the last time. I said, oh, it's been great. If I could finish in the top 4 or 5, I finished the top 4. Hey, that's good enough for me. Outside of the weather and being cold and rainy, when it rained at night and the sand flees, this was a lot easier for me than driving a truck through Chicago every day of the week. That's a lot worse than being out here in the bush."
Yeah, I mean, we all know Chicago's hell, so I understand. I understand why she feels that way. So here's some fun things about the one, the only Susan Hawk. So in 2000, after this aired, she co-hosted an episode of Live with Regis, and she actually interviewed George W. Bush during his first presidential campaign.
What?
Yeah. She also appeared in 2001's Bubble Boy. She's a waitress.
Okay, I gotta rewatch that movie again.
I mean, couldn't hurt. She competed against Richard Hatch in a different game show called Dog Eat Dog, which I vaguely remember, and she beat his ass for $25,000.
Oh, good on her.
Here's one that's a little odd. I don't feel like this fits her personality at all. Her luxury item was a pair of tweezers. Everyone just bring in toiletries. I don't know why we're doing this. Was her thing look, I can't grow a unibrow on TV. That's the one thing about me.
I guess so. I mean, can you make a fire out of a tweezer?
Not that I'm aware of.
No. Okay, tweezers. I mean, they're worse things. Shampoo.
Yeah, I guess the tweezers potentially have more value than a soap, but not a lot more.
Oh. But yeah, Sue is gone. She'll be part of the tribal council, and that will be very interesting to watch.
It's gonna be a good one.
Now we're down to the final 3. Kelly, my prediction, Rudy, and Richard. Let's get into it. Day 38. Jeff, oh my god, it's 4 a.m. here. Jeff wakes up the castaways early, 4 a.m. on day 38. First of all, Jeff, if you wake me up at 4 a.m., my ass would be sleeping still. I don't care.
I'm not prepared for a competition at 4 a.m.
No way.
To be fair, though, they're living on an island, so they probably kind of have to go to bed as soon as it gets dark. So they did probably get a decent amount of sleep by then. Or as good a sleep as you can get in a bamboo shack on a beach by then.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? But it's 38, right? They should be used to it. I guess so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jeff wakes up the castaways at 4 a.m. to lead them to the final immunity challenge. During the walk, the final 3 pass the torches of all the players voted out of the game Sonia, BB, Stacy, Ramona, Dirk Nowinski, Joel, Gretchen, Greg, Jenna, Jervis, Colleen, Sean, and Suhak. Do you like that scene where we're all seeing pretty much like a flashback of each castaway?
A little bit. I don't know. It's just like a really fast version of the thing I was talking about earlier, where they go and talk about all of them. I don't know. This cast, it's certainly not one of the better casts in Survivor history. I think it has some really big standout names like Richard, like Sue, like Rudy. But you really get into the weeds of it, and you're like, yeah, I don't know. A lot of these people, like, they were fun people, but they didn't know how to play the game. They didn't know some of them didn't seem to know they were playing a game, period.
No.
So it's like going back and remembering, like, oh, right, BB, he complained about people not helping him build the shelter and then washed his t-shirt in everyone's food.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
What a great guy.
Oh, man. Yeah, I like that scene because, was it 12 episodes in? A lot of things happened, and it was good to see the whole cast again. The immunity challenge is simple, as Jeff says. All the castaways need to do is to keep their hands on the immunity idol for as long as they can. The last person standing wins. Is literally a Mr. Beast challenge. Mr. Beast stole this idea.
I mean, I feel like I've also seen similar things in like an episode of Drake and Josh, or like, you know, things like that. So I don't know where this idea originates from. I will say, in terms of like final immunity challenges, this is one of the weaker ones, because it's literally just keep your hand on this thing for as long as possible, you know.
Yeah, it's like the plank challenge from last episode.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
pretty much like that. After 2.5 hours of touching the idol, nobody has budged. Suddenly, Rich. Oh yeah, when they started, Rich is like, do you guys want me to sing the 98 bottles? And Kelly's like, not this again.
She's like, kill me now.
So nobody budged. Suddenly, Richard made a decision to voluntarily let go of the idol, leaving Rudy and Kelly to fight it out. What? Kelly says he did it because he was tired. What was Richard's plan here?
Richard would go on to say for years and years and years that he knew for sure that no matter who won that challenge, they were going to take him.
Yeah.
And I guess he turned out being right, because Rudy absolutely would have taken him. I do not understand why Kelly took him. For a second, I don't understand. If she had taken Rudy, she would have won. Easily.
That's true. It's true.
Because there's like 2 votes that... I mean, it's spoilers, but we'll get into it later. It's a bad idea.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have done it.
At the 4-hour point, literally 4 hours of touching that idol, I guess it's like 12 p.m. I feel like they started around like 7 or 8, so now it's like 1 or 12 p.m. here. Jeff asked Rudy and Kelly to switch positions. Oh yeah, when during that 2-hour mark was happening, Jeff was he was coming by with like food and lemonade just to tease the castaways. Jeff, what the hell, man?
That's a thing that they continue doing in long endurance challenges for the foreseeable future. I will say this is easily some of the weakest like temptation food they brought out.
Oranges.
The first thing's like a couple slices of oranges, and he's like, "Yeah, smell the oranges, Kelly. Won't that make you hungry?" And she's like, "Get out of my face, Jeff. I gotta hold on to this idol. It's very important."
I bring some like steak or chicken or I don't know. Bring something
in later
good.
seasons, that's pretty much exactly what it is. They'll be like, "Here's a big old plate of cookies and donuts. Here's a bunch of chicken wings, stuff like that."
Here's some McDonald's.
Usually it's not branded, although they do get a lot of sponsorship from Applebee's. So that would be like the one exception.
Here's a plate of shrimp.
As long as that shrimp is from Applebee's.
Yes. Jeff asked Rudy and Kelly to switch positions. While doing so, Rudy mistakenly, mindlessly take one hand off the idol, which makes Kelly wins the immunity challenge for the fourth and final time.
Hell yeah, way to go, Kelly. 4
Rudy,
immunity wins in a row is a record that is held for a very long time.
Oh, really? Oh, someone broke that. Okay.
Someone has broken it, but she holds it for a very long time.
That's good. That's good for Kelly. Rudy's like, shit. I am old. Back at camp, Kelly basks, like Keith Lee, basks in her victory, while Rudy curses himself for making a dumb mistake that may have cost him $1 million. Yeah, Kelly is safe again. My girl is safe for another time. Rudy says, dumb. It was a dumb move on my part. I gave her $1 million. I would have won that $1 million if I stayed there. Didn't let go of it. It ain't nobody's fault but mine. All right, he accepts it. Richard's like, well, I hope I win. And Kelly's like, I'm safe. That's pretty much. And there was a part. There was a part where Rudy had an axe, and it looks like he was gonna kill somebody.
You were really terrified that he was gonna kill Richard. Of all people, Richard, his one friend.
He's like, I had enough with this guy. But no, he didn't do it. He was just doing something else. At tribal council, Jeff lays out the situation. Rudy and Richard votes to cancel each other out, which only makes Kelly to be the deciding factor. She writes down the name. It was good editing there too, because both names are with an R. So when she was writing the R, the camera cuts. So we don't know. It could have been Rudy or Richard. So good on the camera part there. She writes down the name. Jeff reveals that it is Rudy. After 38 days, the popular, it says here, crusty Navy SEAL has finally been eliminated, becoming the 7th and final member of the jury. The final showdown is set. Richard versus Kelly. Jeff reminds them that the game is in the jury's hands.
Mm-hmm.
My prediction is in the top 2. I will say this from the beginning. No. I didn't remember.
He looked it up, guys. He told me off screen that he looked up the boot order.
No. I said I did the eeny miny mo, catch her by the toe, and I picked Kelly.
Absolutely impossible.
Okay, again.
I demand a recount. Stop the steal.
Well, it's too late because we are now at day 39, the final day
of fast, Survivor Season 1. Do you want to hear some things that Rudy did after being voted out?
Yes, please.
So in 2000, he appeared in an episode of JAG as Rear Admiral A.J. Weddington's Navy SEAL instructor. I don't know. But he then also went on to host a different reality show.
You can host?
Mark Burnett, who's the producer of Survivor, created a very short run, 15 episode, 1 season reality show called Combat Missions, that pit 4 teams of highly experienced military and police operatives against each other in physical challenges. And it was presented by, of all people, the most talkative, most charismatic man known in the world at this time, surely, Rudy Bosch. Which is probably why it only went 1 season. But I didn't know that this existed, and now I really want to see if I can find it somewhere.
Yes.
At least watch the first episode.
I don't see him as a host material.
It says, presented by Rudy Bosch.
Oh, wow. He could have been Jay Leno with his... Does
Jay Leno have military experience?
I think so.
I couldn't tell you. I know nothing of this man. In 2004, he appeared in a straight-to-video film called The Honorable Man.
Oh, is he the Honorable Man?
Couldn't tell you. Probably.
I don't think he was.
His wife of 53 years, Marge, died in 2008 after a long-lasting illness, and CBS dedicated an episode of Survivor Gabon to her.
Oh, that's nice.
In 2015, Rudy was inducted into the Survivor Hall of Fame, which exists, and you are not allowed to look at until because it is big spoilers.
Okay. Wait, how old is he?
How old is he?
Yeah, it's 2015. Like, is he like 80?
He was 91 in 2019 when he passed.
Wow.
So he lived to be 91 years of old. He passed, unfortunately, from complications with dementia and Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
But as a sort of romantic silver lining, he actually passed exactly 11 years after his wife. Like, to the day, 11 years.
Wow. That's called soulmates right there.
And then an episode of season 39, Island of the Idols, was dedicated to him.
All right,
Unfortunately,
Rudy.
not a very good season, but I semi-recently rewatched it, and when that popped up, I was like, Rudy! It was like the best part of the season was just remembering that Rudy existed.
Dang. Well, when I first saw Rudy, I thought he was like an old, grumpy grandpa.
And he
but
is, but we love him.
We love because he's so honest and he's funny. So it's good.
He is honest to a fault, and we absolutely loved every second that he was on screen, even when he was saying things that he shouldn't have said.
Oh yeah,
it's like because we see him at the reunion show too, and he's making jokes. Like at one point, Jeff asks him if like his experience living on an island with a gay man has like changed his perceptions of how he views people in the LGBT community.
Yeah, and
he goes, no, and like he's smiling and laughing, and everyone around him like understands that he's at least mostly joking, you know. Like he's a good guy. He's just a really stubborn guy from a different time, you know. It's maybe hard to explain because I think on paper, if you just listed out like all the things that Rudy did and said on the show, you'd be like, what a monster. Like if you were just like, wow, he was really against gay people and like seemed maybe a little uncomfortable around black people and like was very upset about premarital sex and having children out of wedlock. Right. If you list all those things out, you would probably think like, oh, Rudy's just like an old dickhead.
Yeah.
And he kind of is. But he's a really charming old dickhead who like won't like dictate to you how to live your life. He'll just judge you for it internally and be like, I don't agree with that. And you know what? I'll take that.
Yeah. It could have been a lot worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
Well, Rudy's final words were, I never thought I'll come this far. I got 3 votes and I got 2 votes. Then I got 1 vote. And then they forgot about me. I figured I'm right in the middle where I want them to be, or where I want them to be. And I didn't get a 2 days the first time, but I got a vote since a month ago. And it was fatal vote. He chuckles.
One more thing about Rudy is he is still, to this day, the oldest person to ever play Survivor. Wow. He was 72 at the time that Borneo aired, and he will reappear in a later season, at which point he will be 75. He is by far the oldest person to play the game. And I'm pretty sure, didn't he also win individual immunity at one point? So he's almost certainly also the oldest person to ever win individual immunity.
Dang, man. Rudy should be in the Hall of... Oh, yeah.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
There you go.
He has been since 2015.
There we go. He's in the Hall of Fame in this podcast. First time.
Put him up in there. Put him in the Brown Boy Wonders Hall of Fame.
Rudy. All right, Rudy. Now we're in the final 2. Kelly and Richard. Here we go. Day 39. Kelly said, I woke up and it was very weird. Richard said to me, okay, you're not dreaming. It's the last day. And it's just us 2. All right, that's kind of weird.
Just us. It's just me and this absolute dickhead.
Kelly pretty much went to her a normal spot where she does her yoga. It will be the last time of her doing that. Just to, pretty much say the goodbyes of the beach. Because I guess both guys really miss the beach. They did mention like, hey, what are you going to miss about the beach? The stars, the sunset. Don't miss it. Of course, there's a lot of negativity. Of course, it's hard to live there. But there are some good things about the beach or surviving.
I imagine it's one of those things where you're there and you're suffering, and when you don't necessarily know how long you're going to continue being there, you're like focusing on all the things that suck. But when you see that finish line in front of you, you're like, you know what? This place is actually beautiful. Like, this is a stunning tropical island. I'm hungry and there's bugs crawling everywhere, but when am I ever going to get to do something like this again? Like, I think that starts to settle in when you know that, like, this little adventure is coming to an end. So I mean, we see this a lot at the end of seasons. And I always appreciate it. I always really love the last little, like, farewell to the camp,
Yeah, they have a lot of gratitude when it comes to this game, at least, which is good. This is why this show is pretty awesome. They go through a lot of tough things, but again, it's very rewarding towards the end.
Yeah.
Kelly says, "I'm really grateful. I'm here. I feel lucky to be here to Final 2. Richard says, if I get second place, I will not be sad. I will be happy. I've earned 100 grand. Oh yeah, by the way, whoever gets second place will get 100 grand. And then the first place will get $1 million and a new car. Look, if I was the Final 2 and I didn't get, if I'm not the winner, I'd be fine with 100K. I don't care. I really don't care. 100K is still a lot. On day 39, the Final 2 burn most of their camp supplies, then head off to the tribal council as the Final 2 of the Final 2 Turk to tribal council. The jury shares their thoughts. So when they were burning their stuff, I feel like they shouldn't burn the flag. They should have kept that.
Yeah, it is. There's actually some conversation about that recently, where I forget what the reasoning for it was, but on one of the episodes of Jeff Probst's podcast, he was talking about how they don't have a lot of the old stuff from old seasons. Like, he has a lot of the snuffers that they use, and some other immunity idols and stuff that have been sent home with people or recollected throughout the years. But I don't remember exactly why he was wanting to have so many of them back, but at the end of every season, at least newer seasons, I don't know when they started doing it, they also have an auction where they will auction off like everybody's torches and all kinds of like paraphernalia from that season. So burning your sign and camp or whatever, I don't think is really recommended anymore. It's not generally looked at as a good thing. Although in some early seasons it was a thing for a while where people were just like, well, last day, time to burn down the island.
That's what they did. They're like, they're done with this place and we're gone. But yeah. Also they left the rice and all the creature crawlers are eating that. So it's good, I guess.
I mean, good for them. Yeah.
All right. So we get the thoughts of each castaway who lost. And Sean says, the question, does the end justify the Mings? Apparently, these two contestants did whatever it took to get to the end. It's not the end of the contest yet, in my opinion, because they haven't suffered all the ramifications of getting there yet. All right, Sean, I don't know what you're talking about, but all right. Jervis pretty much praises Kelly as a very nice person and a great player. Rudy says, I liked Rich all the way through the thing. He's a great leader. He's smart, and he's the guy that got the alliance going, which brought the four of us in the final stage. Rudy is sticking with Richard, and he did make a promise. He's a man of his word, so let's see if he does. Greg, Greg was talking about identity crisis for Kelly because she was like swapping the alliances and for herself. How dare he? Yeah,
how dare he? After the absolute mental breakdown he must have suffered like day 3 or something, where he starts talking into coconuts. How dare he be like, yeah, I just don't know what was going on with Kelly. Like, get out of here, dude.
Greg, you were smelling something in the forest, and you were hot. you gotta be.
You gotta be.
Colleen says the vote is difficult. Kelly is my number 1, but Rich, man, he might be the big winner. And she's like, you know what? I just want to go home. I agree. Let's go home, man. Jenna says, I couldn't make it to the top 2. I couldn't be that evil. Susan, okay. When Susan made this testimony, it looked like, we both said this, it looked like she's gonna lock and load something for the tribal council.
She was so mad. She was so mad that we thought she was going to just walk in there and start beating on Richard and Kelly, especially Kelly.
Oh, man. Well, we'll see. Before we get into our last tribal council, man, I feel like you and I have been through a lot as well.
Yeah.
There's all these episodes because they went through stuff, we went through stuff. So if you were in the tribal council, what would you say?
I would have voted for Kelly all day. Okay. If I was on the jury, I would have voted for Kelly, and it would not have even been a question in my mind. I'm genuinely confused as to why so many people didn't, when so much of the reasoning behind them being upset is that the people playing the game had played it in a way that was aggressive and impersonal and didn't seem to take other people's feelings into account. And if you look at which of the two of these people did that worse, that person is Richard Hatch. And I don't really understand why they went, yeah, but he was honest about it, so that makes it okay. When it's like, no, Kelly genuinely got to know you. You saw her know things about you in the trivia contest.
Yeah.
She spent time talking with you, being your friends. Like, she genuinely felt bad about being in this alliance, which she, again, shouldn't have, but because everyone else was upset about it, like, she felt guilty about it. Like, she is a person who did what is so important in modern Survivor. She was able to adapt and change and was willing to make moves and was willing to vote against her alliance. And you know, she had to win those last. She still, to this day, holds the most consecutive wins in a row for a woman.
Yeah.
Like, she is one of the most historic and important players to ever play Survivor. And Richard Hatch, despite being the winner, I think is less impactful. I mean, it meant a lot for the show, right?
Yeah.
That Richard Hatch won, that the very first season of Survivor was won by a gay man, says a lot. Like, that's a very important thing for the world and for the perception of, like, reality TV. And I think also it kind of helped out Survivor that the person who won wasn't the person that we wanted to win, because that sort of proves, like, it's not scripted. This is real, you know?
That's true.
So I think for the longevity of Survivor, Richard Hatch winning is the right decision. I would have never voted for him. Never in 100 years.
It's tough. The thing is, you're right. Kelly made all those connections. She was pretty much like LinkedIn. She had so many connections.
She knew Jenna's kids' middle names.
Yeah, I would have thrown a dart and miss.
You would have been like, your kid's name was McClunky Culkin. Like, no.
Yes, I'll say that. But I feel like Richard. The thing is, I feel like they haven't spoken about this, but I feel like the he provided food or fishes. I feel like that was a big part of their decision making. He provided us food, and we stayed alive pretty much. I don't know, but let's get into it.
Yeah.
Let's get into why he won. Jeff explains that Kelly and Rich will make their opening statements and then face a question from each jury member. Kelly tells that the jury that she cared about everyone in the game, while Richard argues that he played the game the best. Jervis is the first member to speak and asks Rich and Kelly that they wish they could change. Oh, what can they could change? Richard says he put too much trust in others, while Kelly says she wishes she would never join an alliance. Smart. Next up for Jenna. Jenna, as said, for Rich and Kelly, pick 2 castaways you'd like to see in the final 2. Rich says Greg and Rudy, and Kelly picks Sonia and Gretchen. Sean doesn't ask a question, but comments that he had a great time and loved everyone. Sean is he's trying to be a very nice guy. Colleen asks what character traits got Richard and Kelly to the final 2. Kelly credits her faith. Richard praises his observation. Colleen is confused about about his remarks because Richard didn't seem to know anyone. But Richard says he was talking about the game of observation. I feel like when he was making that explanation, I feel like he was BSing it. Or maybe he wasn't. Or he was. Yeah, I feel like he was.
I think there's a solid amount of it that's BS, but I don't know if he knows that. I think there's a certain amount of delusion with Richard Hatch where he really genuinely believes that everything he does is the best way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to say.
Yeah. Rudy gets up to say that he feels dumb for taking his hand off of the idol in the last challenge.
It was pretty. He says.
Yeah.
He just walks up and he's like, "I just wanted to say that I feel stupid about that thing I did. Okay, bye."
Yeah. Again, that's why we love Rudy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Here we go. Greg. He walked up to them, asked Rich and Kelly to pick a number between 1 through 10. Rich said 7 immediately. Kelly says 3, and that's it. No, like, what is Greg? Who is Greg?
A question that psychiatrists will surely be asking for years to come.
Yes. All right, and here it is. Sue brought out her gun. No, she didn't. But Sue is the last one to speak, and she delivers an astounding rant against both of the finalists. Particularly
it's historic, 100% iconic. This entire rant she goes on is one of the most sour grapes ass salty jury ass things that we've ever seen, and it is still referenced constantly to this day because of how iconic it is. In the current season of Survivor, we're past the merge now, but there were 3 tribes, which is normal for modern Survivor, and they each had an emblem, and one of them was a rat and one of them was a snake. Oh. And I have to assume that is at least partially in reference to Sue's classic rant here.
Oh. That's good. That's good. It's like it's like a historic moment of the Survivor Series, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad I saw it because particularly she was more ranting on Kelly. First, she calls Richard a bit of a loser in life. Damn. Then she tears into Kelly. She points out that Kelly is a rafting guide, got stomped in the early rafting challenge by Jervis, who had never rode in his life.
She just doesn't really have anything actually all that negative to say about her because she didn't really do anything that bad and played a very good game and won several immunity challenges. So she just had to be like, yeah, but you did really bad in one challenge very early in the game. So,
okay.
Gotcha, bitch. It's like, all right.
She says she once considered Kelly a friend, but now she sees her as a two-faced, a piece of shit. Pretty much.
In my good Christian Borneo, I don't think so.
Oh, tell that to Dirk.
Right.
And a total failure. She then adds, if you were laying there dying of thirst, I would not give you a drink of water. I would let the vultures take you. Sue concludes her speech by calling Richard a snake and Kelly a rat, and says that is the only fitting for a snake to eat the rat. Yeah.
Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. This is the gold standard of being a shithead, like just being a heel on the jury. This is the standard. Also, I've always thought this, and I've waited until now to bring it up to you. Does Sue Hawk remind you of Roddy Piper at all?
Oh man,
Because she reminds me of him a lot.
Yeah,
the attitude, even kind of the face, a little bit.
Oh man, you're probably on the money. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
She has the attitude.
100%. I don't know why you're doing this though. That's God, what's his name? What's the wrestler who did that? He came to the ring.
Oh, D'Lo Brown.
D'Lo Brown, yes. He
No,
does the neck thing.
No, I feel like Rowdy when he gets into his promos, he goes a little like I don't know.
I mean, he loses it. He loses it a little bit for sure.
Roddy Piper, one of the best trash talkers to this date.
Yeah.
And probably Sue was watching Roddy Piper before getting on the show, so who knows? After the jury, okay. First of all, when she made that remark, she's a hypocrite. Thing? Yeah. Okay. First of all, she's a hypocrite. She did the same thing.
100%. She's like, I can't believe that you would blah blah blah. She says something about like, I'm glad that I could leave the game with my morals intact, and it's like, what are you talking about? Everything that she did, you did. With the only exception being that you lied about it more. You pretended that you weren't doing it in front of everyone, and most notably Jeff Probst. Whereas Kelly was like pretty open about it, relatively speaking, and then also like felt bad about it. Like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean that she's the bad guy here? Like,
exactly.
Get off my back, dude.
After the jury recovers from their tirade, time to vote. Jervis votes for Kelly and then lands a dig at Sue.
King.
That's what,
King Jerv.
Yes, he said that's what we call a loser in my town. You are a hypocrite. What the hell are you talking about? Kelly played a better game than you, and that's why you're sorry ass. You're sorry ass. Just sit down. That's my guy right there. That is my guy right there.
My boy. I love Jervis.
Jenna and Colleen also voted for Kelly. Meanwhile, Richard snags votes from Sean, Sue, and Rudy. Rudy is a man of his word. He said, "I'm going with you until the end."
Mm-hmm.
He's like Black Widow and Hawkeye at the end of an Endgame. Greg sniffs.
I'm surprised that you went for that one and not Steve and Bucky. I'm with you to the end of the line.
Oh yeah, there you go. Much better. We got the weirdest voting testimony ever. Greg sniffs his marker before casting and deciding the vote.
I just will never understand, Greg. I will never contain within me the multitude of mental illnesses and foresight to understand the 17-dimensional chess that this man is playing with sticks and rocks in his own head. I will never understand him.
I don't know, man. Maybe he's playing chess while we're playing checkers. We don't know.
He could be. And certainly a lot of people on reality shows have made that exact same phrase, have thrown that in there. So
there you go.
I just don't get him. I just don't understand him.
Um, well, we know that now he owns a company, so I don't know.
Yeah, he owns of all things like an energy company, like a green energy. Like he's probably very wealthy and actually very intelligent, but he sure doesn't act like it, does he?
No, not at all. But that's why we like Greg a little bit.
Yeah, he's
Jeff,
fun in like a get away from me sort of way.
who would win in a fight, Jeff or not Jeff? No, not him. Greg or Rudy in a fight?
Probably Rudy. Rudy knows 17 ways to kill a man with just his pinky fingers.
That is true. But Greg might use his like Professor X mind, and I don't know. He'll do something.
Oh no! You think that Greg is an Omega level villain?
Yes.
He's a Thanos level threat.
Oh goodness. All right. Jeff reveals the vote one by one. It was very close. Finally reaches to the 7th and decisive vote. The winner of the first Survivor competition. Jeff flips, and the vote is Richard.
Richard Edge.
Richard is the sole survivor of season 1.
It leaves a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth, but in my opinion, there was really only one better option. So it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of seasons of Survivor will get to a point, at least for me, where you'll get to like the final 6 or final 5, and you're like,
yeah,
I kind of hate all these people. I kind of hate all of them, actually. And this one, even the people that I hated that were in the final 5 were at least entertaining. Like, Sue and Rich are absolutely 100% villains, no questions asked. There's no debate on that. But they're a lot of fun to watch. So it's hard to be actually mad about it. But I do think it was the wrong decision.
Well, Richard is the sole survivor. My prediction is incorrect. So for those who think that, Abrar cheated, no, I lost.
He cheats all the time. Hey, friends and family of the show, he cheats all the time. One time, he rigged our fantasy football thing so that he would get the first draft. I saw him do it. I watched him do it.
That was someone else. But
he paid someone to do it for him. Although I will say, and I didn't want to call you out in the moment because I didn't know if you had done it intentionally. But in the very first episode where we talk about Survivor, when you're naming all of the people who are playing, you did it in the exact boot order.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think whatever site or whatever you had taken that from was in the order that they got kicked out.
Damn.
Which it probably said on that site. So fortunately, it seems like you didn't pay attention.
Well, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
I think I got it from some website. I didn't get it from the wiki. I got it from like somewhere else, but they didn't show any spoilers.
I was like looking around on the wiki and I was like, where would he have gotten this from and somehow not known it? And I just couldn't figure it out. So I have no idea. But you got like halfway through and I went, wait a minute. Wait a ding dang conflabbing minute.
What's crazy.
Happening here?
That's crazy.
I've waited 3 weeks to call you out on this.
Oh God. Well, I'm glad you said it now. Rich celebrates everyone, hugging everyone. There's a part where Kelly did not shake or hugged Sue.
Yeah. Well, she just called her a rat and said that she wanted her to get eaten by a snake. So honestly, she can get bent. In that moment where you lose by 1 vote and it's a person who pretended to be your best friend for half the game, no, I'm not hugging you. I'm not shaking your hand. Well, I'll get over it eventually, but not today.
And who the hell says like you're gonna die and I'm not gonna help you?
Yeah, like I'm gonna let the vultures have their way with you. Like, who says that? What a thing to say!
A freaking crazy person. Freaking Sue Hawk.
Crazy. She's a truck driver from the Midwest. She has to be crazy. It's part of the job description.
Richard gets $1 million and Kelly gets 100,000 K. Also, Richards gets a new car.
Yeah, they just kind of like threw that in there at the end. Like they had not mentioned it, I don't think, for the entire show up to that point. And they're just like, and also a Pontiac, whatever. I don't remember what car it was. It was like, oh, weird. Because when he first said it, I thought that they were giving that to the runner-up. Like the car would go to Kelly.
Right.
But then he was like, and he also gets a car. I was like, what the fuck?
But do you think the car was paid off?
Yeah, usually they're not going to give you a bill. Like that doesn't make sense as a prize.
That's true. Dang, you got $1 million and a free car. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean Kelly still gets 100K, so it's not like she's walking out, hurting for cash.
100K is a lot.
Speaking of Kelly,
Yes.
So she, first of all, her luxury item was a bag of beads and a needle and thread. So do you remember that sign that somebody like crocheted that said, was it Rowdy Rudy's Diner or something?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that was made using her kit or whatever you want to call it there.
Okay, she made signs, so that's good.
Yes, she appeared in a parody of Three's Company alongside Jervis, Jenna, and Rudy, where she played Janet. I haven't watched Three's Company, so I don't really know that reference, but I guess she did it.
Three's Company is a good show. It had the late John Ritter.
The late, great. After Borneo, Kelly moved to Mexico, where she taught yoga for many years.
Oh, yoga instructor.
So, honestly, kind of fits. I think we see her doing yoga multiple times throughout the season, so it fits.
Yeah.
Yes, she won 4 consecutive individual immunity challenges, making her still to this day, the woman to have won the most individual challenges in a row, and she is tied for most individual immunity challenges won by a woman with several other people that we'll potentially get to later. So,
all right,
she's a legend, an absolute ledge.
Good on her. Did she have any final words? I don't think so.
Let me check. I didn't see any.
Doesn't say.
Yeah.
Damn.
All I'm seeing is all I see is her like voting confessionals. So yeah, if she did, it wasn't listed here. Maybe it's on the Blu-ray or something.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
All right. Before you get into Richard, let me say his final words.
His final words.
He said,
and I got away with it too, despite those meddling kids.
He said, "Wow, I've won. It's an amazing place to be.
I wish that was the end of it.
Yeah.
Wow, I won.
Survivor. A heck of an opportunity. I'm not exactly certain of what I'm going to do with $1 million. I hope to make lives of my family and friends, and those I care about happier. I love to remain who I am. I'm pretty certain I'm able to do that. It's a wonderful feeling, and I'm really looking forward to getting home. When I get home, then I get to really think about what I'm gonna do with the money and plan out on it. I want a car, and that's just super. A nice thing.
That's just super.
Super nice thing to happen. The $1 million is a heck of an opportunity that I hope don't waste. When he lands,
to be clear,
back,
all of the "us" in that were quotes. That wasn't Abrar messing up. They are written into the transcript of his final words. So that was all. That was all verbatim from your hero and mine, Richard Hatch.
He when he got to the States, he looked like a different person.
He did. He had lost quite a lot of weight. I believe it was, he said somewhere in the ballpark of like 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Not the most weight to ever be lost by a contestant. We'll get to that. That person was on season 3.
Oh.
So we'll get to that one eventually. It's a fun one.
Dang.
But Richard has, in the time since Borneo, sort of made a career out of being a reality TV star.
Mm-hmm.
As I guess you would probably imagine from somebody who was the first winner of Survivor.
Yeah.
He competed on the Australian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and he did very badly. He got 4 questions in and then lost and won nothing.
Oh.
He, like I said, was on Dog Eat Dog with Susan Hawk, who he lost to. He was nominated for Best Villain, but lost to somebody who we will meet soon called John Fairplay.
Okay.
He competed on a special episode of Family Feud.
Oh.
And it does not say if he lost, but given his track record, not looking great.
Which host of Family Feud do you think? Is it the one with Richard Kahn?
In 2009.
Okay,
So
I think that's before
whoever
Steve
was there
Harvey.
then.
I think that's before Steve
probably.
Harvey. Okay.
In 2011, Richard met two of his children who he had not met before because they had been created through sperm donation.
Oh.
Also in 2011, he competed in the 4th season of Celebrity Apprentice, where he was the 5th person fired.
Oh, Trump fired him?
Yeah, guess so.
Damn.
Guess we can guess how he voted, because he does hold grudges. We know this. He competed on The Biggest Loser in 2016, which is a weight loss related reality show, if you're not familiar, where he was the 4th person eliminated after losing 34 pounds.
Oh, you should have won that.
Yeah, 34 pounds is not that much for Biggest Loser, to be honest.
Oh, true.
And in the winter of 2024, currently, as we speak, he is competing on the 2nd season of House of Villains, which is a reality TV show that groups together villains from other reality shows to compete against each other. And it's a really fun show.
Okay.
I have not watched this new season, but yeah. But here's the thing that everyone's going to want us to talk about. And I feel like we have to. Because it's, in some ways, very funny. And in other ways, a little tragic. On January 19th, 2005... the state attorney's office in Rhode Island, where he's from, reported that Richard had failed to report on his $1 million winnings.
Oh.
On his federal income tax. As well as the $10,000 that he was paid for his money for the reunion show. And an additional $321,000 he had received from other appearances afterwards. He believed, or argued that he believed, that he thought CBS had paid the taxes on that money before they gave it to him, which is, and I should point this out to anyone who wants to be on reality TV, not how that works. When you get the income, you pay the taxes, no matter where it comes from.
Oh no.
And so he was arrested for tax fraud.
Oh man.
And in 2009, so he got arrested and he got out on plea and there was all of this. And then later in 2009, he was re-arrested and taken into federal custody for granting 2 supposedly unauthorized interviews. He was under house arrest at the time, and apparently when you're under house arrest, you are not able to make media contact. So he was re-arrested for that. And then he was under house arrest until December 20. So on October 16th, 2009, he was released from prison and then stayed in house arrest until December of 2011. So he spent multiple years under one form of arrest or another.
Wow. That is really funny.
So, the very first winner of Survivor failed to pay his taxes on his winnings and went to jail for an extended period of time. And then also, kind of tried to blame CBS for it somehow, which is not going to work out in your favor. You're not. No, that $1 million is not going to pay off the lawyers you would need to beat a company like CBS in something that you clearly made up.
I'm sure CBS told him when he wins $1 million. You got to tell them all the details of winning it, right? When it comes to taxes or something, they didn't tell him nothing.
You would think. My assumption would be that they did, and that he either forgot, didn't care, or intentionally tried to get away with it. I can't prove that. At the end of the day, he ended up serving his time. Everything's done. Now he's just making a career out of continuing to appear on reality TV shows, probably in part because being a felon means that you can't get most jobs other than apparently president of the United States, but that's a different conversation for a different time.
Yeah.
So yeah, he does compete
Wow.
again. We will see him again. The time that he competes again is before he has been arrested. So he is still in everyone's good, well, some people's good graces at that point. But since his arrest, he has not played again, although he was invited back for season 40 Winners at War, but he couldn't because of an unrelated controversy that there's not enough time to talk about here. We'll talk about if we get to that season, we'll talk about it then.
Okay. Well, Richard, for everyone, at least in America, pay your taxes because you might be
taxes, dude.
you might end up in jail.
You might look in America. You might get away with organized crime or murder or any kinds of terrible things, but the IRS will find your ass.
Yeah.
Every time. Ask. That's how they got. What was it, Hoffa or whatever? Not like multiple big name like crime people got away with organized crime for decades and then got on tax evasion. So don't mess with the IRS. They will find you every time.
Pay your taxes. Be a good citizen. But yeah, Richard was the first winner. My prediction is incorrect. I'm fine with it. I think Richard
Pretty close though.
Very close. I did not expect Kelly to be this far, but here I am. Who knows? The next time we do this, my prediction might lose the first round. Who knows?
Maybe.
But yeah, next time we might do another Survivor, so watch out for that rewatch. Maybe next year, maybe pop up out of my ass. I don't know.
Maybe
But,
tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow.
We're watching more.
You never know where we're coming from, but this was fun. I think I love Survivor.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like
Hell
this
yeah.
is, I feel like this is better than. Of course, it's the original like reality show that's most popular. Because I've been watching the show Circle on Netflix. That's more of like a social game, but this is more fun. I'm glad you brought me to this, man.
Hell
Appreciate
yeah.
you.
It is probably my favorite show of all time. It's like right up there with. I mean, it's my favorite reality show without a question. It's Raw. It's easily in my top 3 favorite shows of all time. It's like Survivor, Smallville, and One Piece, and I don't really know the order on there. Although I think at the moment Survivor is at the top of that for sure. But ask me in 5 years, and maybe it'll shuffle around. I'm so glad that you are enjoying it and wanting to watch more of it. I have been very successful in Survivor pilling you, and now you will be one of us.
One of us.
Any day now, you're going to be like, you know what? I should apply to be on Survivor.
No, I cannot be. I cannot be on the show.
I don't know. It's a slippery slope. You become a really big fan, and then you're like, I could do this.
We'll see. But right now it's a no. But
Okay.
when you hopefully get on Survivor,
Yeah,
I hope you win.
When I like that.
Yeah, when because you are gonna be on it.
Man,
We don't know when.
Look,
because
to be clear, have not heard anything about anything, but
Okay.
I would love to be on Survivor. I will continue to apply until I either become too old to realistically compete, or I get on the show, or they tell me to stop applying. That I guess would be option 3 if they're like, here's a lawyer, stop talking to us.
No, you could be like Rudy, 72. You can still do it. If you can still do it at his age, I think you can do it.
You know what? Hell yeah.
Be 73 and be the oldest winner or oldest contestant on Survivor.
No, oldest
Do
winner.
that. Okay, yeah, there you go. Oldest winner, thank you. But for that reason, the next time you hear from us, should I say it now? I guess I should say it now. Well, of course, next month will be, or this month, I guess is released on December something. But maybe in the next few days, you'll probably be hearing us doing a holiday rewatch of Santa Claus 2, and then the following week, Home Alone 2, and then the week after that, it is Batman Returns. And then I'm going to give it, I'll say it right now. If anybody's listening, here's an exclusive.
A scoop.
After Batman Returns, next year, 2025, my friends, Daniel, Anthony, Skylar, Ray. She's be on a couple of episodes. We'll be doing Batman the Animated Series. All of it. So stay tuned for that. Daniel, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter or Blue Sky at Daniel J. McG or at my personal YouTube channel of Daniel McG.
Fantastic. Of course, you can follow this podcast on freaking Spotify, iHeart Radio, Apple Podcasts. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm everywhere. And all we can say is, what did the Tagi and Pangang tribe say? Jeff probes.
Yeah, I'm sure they all said that at some point. You're right.
Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. I'll just say this. How Sean says it. Bye.
Bye. Have a beautiful day.